Francisco, thank you so much. Arthur, thanks a lot for having me. I think more than anything, I've practically learned a toolkit from all these experts. Vance, your presentation, Ike, yours was fantastic as well. Roger, thank you guys for having me here. I'm just going to give you a different perspective. Before I start, I think I'll give you a little brief about the group that I am associated with. It's called Dr. Agarwal's Group of Eye Hospitals. Uh, can I? Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So we're about 60 years old. We're pretty much present in India and Africa. With presence in about 12 countries, 95 plus hospitals. We have 350 doctors and 2,700 employees. Why am I saying this? I think that gives a different perspective in terms of how we execute the task from a one center or a single center over 95 centers. So we believe a lot of our practices and protocols are more important in terms of documenting and actually putting it out there so that the turnaround time for actually ensuring anything that we do goes in really quick and fast. Having said that, we're we're faced with this corona or the COVID situation or the crisis, where we really don't know how what's going to play even 2 months from now, and what we're going to learn over the next 2 months. So we honestly are taking it 1 week at a time. Currently, we've just heard that our extension, or we've been in lockdown for the past 40 days, and our lockdown has extended for another 2 weeks. So we're still in lockdown mode, and the numbers are peaking yet. So we still have to know what is going to happen once we come out of this lockdown. Having said all of that, I think that plays a good context to what I'm going to say next. Can you change my slide? I'm not able to. Arnold? Yeah, thank you. So how do we achieve numbers again? I think it's a $1 million question. And what we can do at this point is to assume and uh, predict the future. And to do that, I think the couple of things that I'm going to show you some of the numbers that we believe, or I believe, that is the way that it's going to come back. Okay, so in the quarter 1, I think it's a washout. We probably will have 5 to 10% of our revenues coming back from our last year's business. If you look at quarter 2, we're not going to see anything more than 25 to 50%. Mind you, all of this only and only if things do open up again, and we are able to meet the norms. And I'll come to that, meet the norms and social distancing and stuff like that. I think a lot of the other speakers have already spoken so well about it. I'm going to refrain from stating that, but in the quarter 3, what we expect is hopefully there should be an increase, unless in the winter something hits and we get a lockdown again, and which, we all know that there is some second wave somewhere brewing in the corner, and we all have to be very, very vigilant of that one aspect. But I feel that even in Q4, that is next year, early next year, if you look back 100 years, it took 2 years for the pandemic last time to actually settle down. There was a second wave, which was even worse than the first one. And so keeping things in mind, not being pessimistic, but just being cautious, I think you might want to have a backup plan in mind. And that's why the numbers uh, look like this. Also, the fact is that I come from a country, India, where the economic situation already was a developing one, not like the China developing nation, but a truly developing nation sort of one. But yeah, but that's one of the reasons why the numbers could take some more time to actually come back to what it was. In terms of split-wise, how I would look at it is cataracts. I think the VR and the optical and pharma business is what's going to come up in the initial phase, and only in the Q4 will you see the cataracts and elective procedures, actually patients wanting to come up and actually do these procedures on a rampant basis will come back. But having said all of this, I think it's all going to be based on adaptation. The people who adapt at this point today are the ones who are going to see a faster, better recovery. Also, what's going to happen is as soon as we come out, if we are not ready, people are going to see that you didn't plan anything during the last 40 days, last 50 days. What were you doing, and so on and so forth. So we didn't want to take those steps. So we have gone ahead and assumed, predicted, as well as planned for our future. And that's hopefully one aspect or one thing that's going to help us in coming out of this COVID situation crisis. That's our spread across India and Africa. Some key strategies that I'm employing across board is one is online consultation. I think all of us believe that there is a huge element of technology, AI, technology, telemedicine, any of those appointment systems, and these are things which we really need to start employing. Like Ike said in his talk, it was brilliantly said, artificial intelligence. So many of these platforms are already there. We just need to pick and choose the one we really believe is the one that's going to help us. Keeping that in mind, opticals and high and low end cataract. See, it's not like patients are not going to have cataract. Patients are already having cataract. In fact, that may be a backlog which we have not even foreseen yet, and they are going to need some form of assistance. Probably our working hours are going to increase. Probably our time spent in the offices are going to increase, and that is something that we really need to focus on the lower end as well, because the lower end from my country perspective is going to be a huge chunk right now, since the economy has been hit so badly. Opticals is a huge part of our business, and that is something that we are keenly looking forward to coming back ASAP. That can immediately start off. Restructuring and re-looking at manpower, disciplined approach. I think this is something that Roger also spoke about. I think this is very important. When I say re-look at manpower, I don't mean to fire them or anything of that sort, but that's a very negative way to look at it. I think there's going to be multitasking. I think there's going to be a lot of people doing other jobs as well in the same setup, and that is going to become a part of this whole new normal, how one person might need to do two things at the same time, just to ensure that there's no uh, there's no overlap over there. Continued focus on how we can actually ensure the clinical protocols and processes that we put into place for both patients, staff, vendors, and all of us put together, whether it's a package being dropped off or it's a patient being picked up, or is a patient coming in for an investigation or appointment, whatever it is, needs to have some form of processes that come into place, documented ones more so in our setup at least. And last one is very, very, very crucial and important, is how we communicate any of these changes that we are making. We may make a lot of changes over the next 1-2 years, and those changes have to be communicated really well to our stakeholders, whether it be the doctors, whether it be the patients. It could be through video, it could be through audio, it could be through a printed format, it could be through a digital email blast. Whatever it is, it needs to be communicated to all these major stakeholders, and they need to actually know what are the changes that are going to be expected from them or from us. So these are some of the key strategies that I'm going to use in terms of bringing back the numbers. Hopefully the patients and the people around us will be able to see that the effort put in has yielded some results looking at the COVID situation. And our premium IOLs, the best case scenario, I truly believe that premium IOLs have a huge role to play in this, because as Roger said, and all of us over here said, Vivior also believes that premium IOLs is the way to go. Why? Because I think what has happened is there has been a hit on the economy. I agree, definitely, but it's hit the lower and the middle class. I don't think that upper class is going to be deciding whether not to do a premium IOL, and we really can capitalize on that more so now. I'm not able to. Yes, okay. Premium IOLs, they give you an opportunity to generate back some of the revenue. uh, you know, it's a huge opportunity. As Roger said, 80% of the profits come from the premium IOLs. And it also means that you can actually follow the safety norms, that is your social distancing, lesser number of patients, increased number of increase revenue and increase profits. And so some of the reasons why you would want to actually opt premium IELTS at this point would be these. I would like to mention about robotics as well. I think they have, you can add a little bit about reduces human intervention and so on and so forth. So it probably has a part to play in adequate social distancing. That's it from me, and thank you so much. Keep the questions going, guys.